Hello and welcome back to House of Perfume Lovers. Let's begin with today's video. CK1, 1994. When a perfume chose to disappear. In 1994, there was no explosion, no shock, no fragrance entered the room to disrupt the air. Something quieter happened and far more radical. The perfume disappeared. After decades of presence, control, intensity, and confrontation, a fragrance arrived that didn't raise its voice, didn't impose itself, and didn't ask for space. A perfume that chose not to play the game at all. Its name was CK1. The world of the 1990s was exhausted. Exhausted by excess, exhausted by exaggeration, by conflict, and by rigid classifications. Masculinity had become a burden, femininity had become battle. An identity, a question too heavy to answer. CK1 didn't come to resolve that tension, it came to step outside it. It didn't offer clarity, it simply said, I won't participate. Calvin Klein wasn't searching for another shockwave like the ones that defined in the 1980s. It was searching for something quieter and far more daring. Neutrality. To create a fragrance that didn't shout, didn't explain itself, and didn't define its position. A perfume that didn't say, this is for him or this is for her. When it appeared, it wasn't even clear whether it was masculine or feminine. Not because the line was blurred, but because the perfume refused to recognize that the line mattered. It didn't say, I'm for everyone. It said, I'm not concerned with classification. CK1 didn't enter the room before its wearer. It didn't precede the step. It didn't claim attention. It felt as though it had already been there. Its structure reflected that philosophy. It wasn't dense, not dark, not imposing. It was clean, transparent, light, but never empty. The opening, cold citrus, closer to water than to perfume. Not theatrical freshness, not performative energy, just a sensation that the air had become lighter. At the heart, flowers appeared, but without announcement. No declared femininity, no imposed masculinity, no symbolism, and no agenda. Just a presence in a neutral space that required no explanation. And in the base, soft musk and gentle woods, a skin-level persistence, as if the fragrance didn't want to be smelled from afar, but only discovered when someone came close enough. CK1 was not absence, it was conscious withdrawal, a deliberate disappearance after years of olfactory noise. And this was the real shock, not in the smell, but in the idea. The fragrance was saying, my existence does not require proof. I don't need to be masculine or feminine, just to be present. In the mid-1990s, that position was more radical than any confrontation, because society was built on defined roles, fixed identities, comfortable categories. CK1 moved quietly between them and erased the lines without announcing it. Even the advertising reflected this retreat from definition. Ordinary faces, young men, young women, simple clothing, no glamour, no seduction, no dominance, and no promise. Just existence, unburdened by the need to prove itself. CK1 didn't try to be powerful, didn't try to be provocative, didn't try to be different by force. It simply refused to be classified, and that unsettled everyone. Because perfume, historically, had always answered one question, who are you? CK1 refused to answer that question. And in that refusal, an entire generation recognized itself. A generation that didn't want labels, didn't want definitions, and didn't want reduction. A generation tired of being forced into singular identities. CK1 wasn't a fragrance of power. It was a fragrance of intelligence. Its intelligence was understanding that conflict has lost its usefulness. That withdrawal could be stronger than any confrontation. After it, a new era began. An era of quiet projection, skin-level intimacy, personal space, fragrance as a private aura, not a public statement. CK1 didn't erase masculinity, didn't erase femininity. It chose them as choices, not obligations. And that is why it succeeded, not because it amazed, but because it relieved. CK1 was never a fragrance that wanted to be remembered for its scent alone. It wanted to be remembered for its position. A position that said, you don't have to explain yourself to exist. That silence can be a decision. And that withdrawal can sometimes be stronger than confrontation. CK1 was never about smell. It was about fatigue. About a generation that chose to stop shouting, and close the door on noise and simply breathe. That was all for today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, stay scented.